Unapologetically, QI's in the building. I don't have really much battery, but I have to say this. Unapologetically, QI is in the building. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I I was triggered just like the rest of y'all. No, there's no excuse ever for physically, verbally, mentally, emotionally, any type of abuse of anyone. Let me repeat that for everyone. There is no excuse for mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially abusing anyone, period. So I have a zero tolerance when it comes down to abuse. I I did a live stream a couple of days ago, I guess, and it spoke about how it was triggered. It was the one dealing with Lady Nika, right? And why it triggered me and how it triggered me. You know, I thought I had forgot about the situation. I thought the situation didn't impact me so much, but it did. It triggered me. I've been observing and I'm all over the place because, I'm coming from emotions, I'm coming from experience, and I'm trying to find the best way possible to say what I have to say. Um, because I'm triggered by a lot of things. I'm triggered by how the beef sector is handling this. I'm triggered by the fact that a lot of people didn't think that this would happen. And I'm triggered by the fact that the signs, the red flags were there all day. Uppity got up at 7 o'clock this morning. She was drinking. Uppity, that's not Uppity's normal. That's not up. Everyone wants to call Uppity a drunk. But when Uppity was first coming on here, she wasn't drinking like that. And then, just here recently, it picked up a little bit. And I think I know why. After Uppity got doxxed, right? Like I sat back and yeah, I don't jump on anything. I know it's more than one side. I wasn't sure if that was her or not. However, I went over to her page and I was listening to her story. I was listening to her talk about it. And she talked about the fact that, she had gone through some abuse, right? Now, this is not making up any excuse because, like, just like I was over in Ness, I love Ness. I like Ness. And this is not taking anybody's side, and this is not anything. This is just simply telling the truth. And then I'm telling the truth from my experience as well. So let's get that clear. Like when people were talking about, Ness's situation, I didn't speak about it. And I clearly understood. Like when Ness came out and spoke, her truth, I understood. Yes. Like she had someone there that was able to give her child the best care. I got that. I think that was smart. That was one of the best decisions. Everyone has to make, decisions. But there are some cases where people don't have that additional help, right? Now, during the time, like I was a 24-hour, 7-day a week caregiver. Plus, like I went from helping my cousin care for my aunt for like 2 months. And really it was 2 months of me being 24 hours, 7 days a week with her too, because I was giving him a vacation. And, she started to decline and she passed. So then I come to I'm thinking that I'm just coming to my grandmother's house because that was my grandma's baby girl. So I'm thinking that I'm coming to my grandma's house and I'm going to spend like a month or two to help her sort of get over the grieving process. And then I noticed a decline in my grandma. So, we're going to the doctors and different things like that. And they diagnosed her with dementia. First, dementia is a it's a declining situation. So at first, it wasn't so bad. At first, it was just an off and on type of situation or whatever. But and I'm still thinking, I kept my house for 2 years thinking that I was gonna go back to my house in a different state. Ultimately figuring out that, I would not after like well, yeah, 2 years. Ultimately figuring out that, I was not and I might as well give it up, especially after it had been broken into like twice or whatever. All right, so I don't know. When I went to DC, I think I was it might have been 2 or 3 years in by that time of being a 24-hour, 7 day a week caregiver. And, I needed a break. I needed a vacation. And so that 2 weeks was about, refreshing, giving myself a vacation. And my grandmother had, a lot of care in terms of nurses and different things, people that came to the home, different things of that nature. And they were saying that they could set her up for respites. And, so like I told my aunt about that, my aunt was like, nah, 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 I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So, I'm like, okay. So my aunt almost bagged out. She was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Now, this is after I've reserved hotels. This is after I've, paid for my transportation, paid for my ticket, you know, and I was like, nah, because I just can't waste that money like that. And and it was like at the time it was too late to call respite, but she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So I called my sister, called people. I'm like, y'all, come and help her, do it or whatever. And I didn't understand that, that would sort of take my grandma off of her routine because me and my grandma had a routine. And I don't know, and I think, my grandma always preferred me, anyways, um, preferred me. I'm just gonna put it that way. Well, after I got back from DC, remember expressing all of that and remember, like I had that major I went and had that breakdown on the page and everything. That's because it had kicked into me that, I was really all by myself in terms of taking care of my grandma. And that, I had sacrificed everything because it's not, you can't do the things that, you once did when you're a 24-hour caregiver. And I didn't know anything about caregiver burnout because as a caregiver, you have almost no time for yourself. And if you do, it's like increments. It's like little increments. I found ways around different things. I found like little schedules around little things to make things work. And like with people with dementia, they'll walk out the house or anything like that. So it's like I had to set up barricades and I had to set up different things, you know, and I lacked sleep a lot of times, just making sure my grandma didn't get up and go in the kitchen and cook, or that, like she didn't walk out the house or anything. You have to stay sort of like on alert. So, like I'm talking about for years, like I didn't get adequate rest. It's a duty, it's a job, it's hard. And you do get frustrated. That's why like when I had started doing my little channel and and I stopped. Everybody, oh, where you went, like where'd you go? That's where I went. Because like as my grandma declined, it took more and more energy. And I know and I want to keep my energy and my spirit right for my grandmother. My so, like I left YouTube, I stopped content creating because that was a task in itself. But let me tell you something about online for people who do things of that nature. It can sometimes be an outlet. It's an outlet sometimes. It has its own form of therapy. It can be therapeutic. Well, long story short, like I eventually found out about caregiver burnout, and I eventually found out that there were people that could come in and give you like a couple of hours of break, and then like they could set you up. Like next time I took vacations, I definitely should have done the respite. I should have just ignored my auntie and did the respite, because I found out myself that nobody could care for my grandma like I could. And that's and I mean, like, it's a lot. I'm just gonna try to say it's a lot. But I noticed today that Uppity got up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and she was, like, drinking. And I was concerned. I was concerned. Then I noticed that when she went to Brianna's platform, she was manic. Remember, she was talking, 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 and just upset and just going at everybody. She was manic. And then she went over to Pizzario's, and I noticed over there she was depressed, and she was looking for a lot of validation. Remember, she was talking about dancing and can I dance and all of that. Now, I didn't get to go over to Yusuf's. I'm subscribed to his channel, but it ain't coming up in terms of whatever, because I love Yusuf. But Uppity has been depressed. And what has not helped, and I can speak for experience, it seems like with YouTube is very toxic. And the situations that Uppity has been going through, I don't know, for the last, what, 2 weeks or whatever, has not been good for her. I've seen a change in her. And I understand why she just wouldn't log off or whatever, because, like, it's her outlet. Like, it's her way of speaking to other adults outside of her family, and different things of that nature. However, um, people were really getting down on Uppity, right? People were really getting down on her all over the place, all over the place. I've been there. I have been there. That's why I was like, it's better to just log on off. And my first mind told me to, like, I wish Uppity had gone live from her channel or something again, because I probably would have went over there and tried to, tell Uppity that, because I have noticed today that it was something definitely going on with her. Now I know that people, they look at like the court records and all of that kind of stuff. But I mean, she sort of explained that, and at the time she had, she was caring for, a special needs child as well. And I don't know about what type of resources they have in New York, but like she definitely needs a caregiver. She definitely, I mean, not a caregiver. She definitely needs someone to come in and give her breaks from time to time. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people, like a lot of the people on the app, y'all are holding single mothers so accountable, right? But what about the fathers? Because even with a normal child, or even with normal children, sometimes mothers do need a break. It can be overwhelming for regular mothers. But it's like it's like mothers can't make no mistakes. And people are so hard on mothers, especially mothers that are trying to do it by themselves, until it's ridiculous. But they're not holding fathers accountable like that. They're not holding fathers accountable. And, like, it's noticeable that, like, okay, she says her man comes in or whatever. But, he may not be the type of man that realizes that he needs to be hands on as well and give her a break. He may feel like just because she's at home all day taking care of, Nyla, that's enough. That's a break. Nah, taking care of children are hard as well. Like sometimes you might have other family members. Like sometimes it's like, okay, well, um, go to your grandma's or for the weekend, or go, like family members that'll come help, take your child or take the child for a little while. Just like in my situation, my aunt thought an hour once a week was fine. It wasn't. It wasn't. You know, but luckily I found like I had coping mechanisms, and I found out about the caregiver, like people coming in and giving breaks, so you could just like wander off, for a couple of hours, just do your own thing, be it in your own peace of mind. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not excusing any type of abuse, none whatsoever. But in a lot of ways, Uppity needs help. And I'm just trying to say, like, I had already had concerns. I have been having concerns. I've been dropping down in her chat and different things like that, trying to give her encouragement and different things of that nature. Because, like I know it's been hard or whatever. And I don't know what kind of, background or what kind of family situation or whatever she's in. But if it's not supportive, um, then, she, like it doesn't appear that there may be a support system. And there are support systems through agencies and resources and different things like that. But I'm not sure that she even knows about that. But I'm just trying to say, like, we have to start being more compassionate and looking at people's situations and stop being so tough and so hard on people all the time. Sometimes people are crying out for help. Uppity was crying out for help today. 7 o'clock in the morning, she was talking. Like it's really been for a couple of days. She's been crying out for help. Now, I know a lot of people are already calling or whatever. That's fine. Um, I I wouldn't mind knowing that the wellness check was done, because I'm concerned about Uppity as well as her daughter. I'm concerned about Uppity as well as her daughter. And I know this is not the popular opinion of most. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't understand her and just don't like her just because, she is she. But really, at the end of the day, she don't do anything any differently from a lot of people on here. You know what I'm saying? To be honest. And it's no reason to want to destroy a person. And then, at some point we got to realize that, like some people are crying out for help. That don't mean put your foot on top of them. That means like somebody got to be compassionate enough, because we don't know what kind of things people are going through. We don't know if they have a support system or not. I'm sitting here looking in the mirror. I've lost weight, and I'm looking, I'm like, I am so handsome. But anyways, I know that was random. But people deal with grief, people deal with a lot of different things, and this the beefing sector. That like in a lot of ways there's no excuse for a lot of the things that people are doing on here. A lot of these people have issues, and it's like a cycle of abuse, a cycle of issues, a cycle of dysfunction. And they justifying their dysfunction by abusing someone else. It's ridiculous. And like really it's I'm just, like there's gonna be some horrible things that may happen if, if like it doesn't stop, because it's a cycle. It gets worse and worse. And I know, oh, you're excused. No, I'm not excusing that. There's no excuse. I don't want to see, I don't want to know that that little girl is being mistreated or whatever. But like at the same time, like I think that her mother needs help. I think that her mother needs a break. Like Uppity may need to go on vacation, or she may need to go to a mental health facility for a little while her child is being properly taken care of. And she may know that she needs that kind of help, but is afraid to do it because of her child. A lot of people, women don't, a lot of mothers don't want to separate from their children as well, especially if they don't have someone that they trust taking care of them. It's a lot of things. Just like like anybody on here, I just don't like, I don't rip into anybody on here who's a mother, because of the same, I need to know your whole situation, and I'd rather help you than hurt you. You never heard me say anything like that. And I'm just saying, I'm just saying, y'all gotta, and this is not excusing anything. This is just like, y'all gotta have a heart and start looking at situations. Cause like I said, I went through that. I went through being a 24-hour caregiver. I went through that. So I understand it. I heard K Fit on the panel. She was talking about it too. She said she had to learn. She had to learn. She knew how to find those resources, but not everybody does. I knew how to find those resources. I knew how to find coping skills, but not everybody does. Sometimes people need help and they don't know where to find it or get it. Just like Uppity talking about anybody else's child, same thing with somebody else talking about Uppity's child, or different things of that nature. I mean, this is not real life. This is an entertainment life app. It's real life. Virtual reality. You can spread poison faster on by way of social media than you can boots on the ground, physical. This app has a bigger effect because of the large amounts and the mass amounts of people, the pileups, the pileups. I'm talking about the pileups. People piling up just because, like, uh, you know, a lot of people. I like people who are different. I like people who are themselves. Everybody has a different personality, and everybody has flaws. There's no one perfect person on this app or off this app. And Uppity wasn't doing anything any differently from anybody else. Like, people expect people to march in a straight line and all think the same and do the same. And anytime somebody's outside that line or whatever, then it's like the pileups. And some people have larger followers, so they don't have the defense. They don't have, people to come help fight their battles like a lot of other larger content creators do. So it's an unfair advantage. In a lot of ways, it's abusive. In a lot of ways, it's not good. So I don't believe in the pile ups and sending out, nah. That's why, like, when I see people getting piled up on, a lot of times I'll go and I'll show some compassion. I've been there. I try to treat people like I want to be treated. I have a heart, because I guess I know a little bit. I've experienced a lot of this. I saw a lot of this. I saw the caregiver thing. We all, like, a lot of people have said that there might be some mental, like, issues going on with uppity. It doesn't mean that she can't be a good parent. It just means that from time to time she might need some help, additional help. She might need a break. They have those resources out there. They have those resources. And maybe she doesn't know where to find them. Maybe she's afraid to find them. Maybe, it's a lot of different things. And there are causes and effects to a lot of stuff. The way you treat people or pile up or degrade or dog or whatever. Because when I saw her on Pizarro's panel looking for validation for her dances, she was so sad when people told her that, she wasn't a good dancer. Because the majority of what Uppity hears when she comes to get some socialization, probably the only socialization she could get is negativity. Everybody needs uh motivation. Everybody needs inspiration and uplifting at times. Everyone does. And sometimes you can't be so mean that you do, like, if you're so mad that you want to destroy somebody, that you want to hurt somebody, that you want to tear their heart and their soul out, then you need to log off as well, because you shouldn't be that mad. Like, if you beef, beef, but it's a line that you can cross. Don't cross that line. And then either agree to disagree, and move around. That's all that has to happen. Agree to disagree and move around. But nah, people want to get that vengeance. People want that get back, like war in Chirac or Chicago. That get back. And that's how all of that started in Chicago. Get back. Y'all tap me, I gotta tap y'all back. And before it's over, you got a lot of lost lives. But I'm gonna get off here because I just hoped I had enough battery and stuff just to say that. Because I mean, like I said, it triggered me. It was a triple trigger for me. It triggered me to how people couldn't separate their own emotions. It triggered me how people couldn't have compassion. It triggered me how, hearing about what that little girl went through. And it triggered me to see Uppity in the state that she was in today, and depressed and needing help and reaching out or crying out. So until next time, this is unapologetically QI, peace, love, and light. In the lab. I was in your chat last night. I'll probably be there tonight. I hope I normally watch it on the TV, but depending on if my phone gets charged up or not, I may or may not be able to type in the chat. And sometimes I need to take my butt to bed. But I always either catch you in the morning or at night. But I'm gonna be over there. Salute Dovey. Salute Donna Hughes. Salute all that's in the chat, and thank y'all all for y'all support. I really appreciate it. And I'm out. Let me charge up so I can type in Mahesh chat.